All too often, do you see a young minority, usually a black or a Mexican or an Asian boy or girl, working in fast food. And usually, when you ask them, are you going to school? It's either no, I can't right now, or yeah, I'm taking the semester off right now to focus on work. Not to say that the underprivileged white kids have it easier, but for the sake of what most people in the US of A, it's usually a minority who's working and facing trialsome situations. All too often do we see the minorities where they live, their territory. It's usually the ghetto, the hood, the slums, whatever we want to call it. It's not Beverly Hills and it's not the high rises. Poverty is all too often seen, and usually it's the minorities who are suffering. Is it because they've been held down? They've been oppressed in some way? I used to think the same thing. However, it wasn't until I changed my mind, my mental state of mind, until someone showed me and told me, you do not have to be a product of your environment. This is where I grew up. 819 Dallas Avenue, Conway, Stockton, California. So many people call it the hood or the ghetto. Interestingly enough, many minorities live in this area, still till today. I, however, no longer do. But I can remember growing up from 2000 to 2008, living here. To our left, we had a Vietnamese family. And to the right, we had a Hmong family. And all around, we had Hispanics and blacks and Cambodians. But yet, I remember the struggle that many of us had here. Low-income housing, very, very poor. Not too many people had even cars. I remember carpooling to school, and most of the time, even walking to school. It's about 3-4 miles away. I can remember my mom growing up. We didn't know my mom pretty well. She developed paranoid schizophrenia as a teen and later turned to doing drugs, like many her age did back in the days. My father, my biological father, never met him, don't know him, still to this day. A few of my siblings know their fathers, but me, to this day, I still don't. I remember before we moved here, we lived in Sacramento, where we were foster children. We were taken by CPS. For those of you who don't know what CPS means, it's Child Protective Services. That day was a very stressful day for my mother. It caused her to have a mental breakdown and put her into the mental institution, or the crazy house, some would call it. It took her a long time to get us back, but she fought. She was a fighter. And me and my siblings, we appreciate her for that. Remembering when I was growing up, my mom would tell me stories about how she used to take care of my grandmother's house when there was 5 families living in a 3-bedroom house on the south side of Stockton, one of the most violent places here in California, besides Compton and Oakland. However, I didn't believe those stories for the simple fact that she had paranoid schizophrenia, that she had a disease. And it wasn't until later on in my life that I remember speaking to my older siblings and my cousins, and they confirmed that all the stories she was telling was true. Though my story is not the saddest in human history, it has been a journey for me up until this point. Growing up here in Conway, in these very streets, you have to fight almost every day just so you wouldn't get hurt. With so many minorities being here, it caused many people to be part of a certain kind of gang, whether it was the MOB, which is the Hmong gang, or the Cambodian gang, or the black gang, or the Mexican gang, Nortes. It led to many acts of violence, a lot of killings and death. It also led to so many people being on welfare and Social Security income. This lady right here, Jenny, I remember every day she'd see me walking to school and they always offer me a ride to pick me up. Me and her son are still good friends to this day. And growing up in this hood, it's rare to find a good influence, and she was that for me and her son. Just because I grew up in the hood, I found a way not to allow myself to be a product of my environment. I had to go from average to A1. What do I mean by that? Well, I choose to be different. I choose to present myself in a way that demands respect of others, and in turn, I respect and dignify people of all colors, nationalities, and social status. We at A1plus1 Personalized Services, we are empowering the lives of those who too want to break the mold of poverty and broken families, of relying on welfare and SSI to strive for and reach goals that they have only spoken of within their own confines of their own rooms.